Laura, thank you so much for being here and for joining us and telling us a little bit about your time in India. So we're so excited to hear and for you to share it with us and to share it with our partners. So obviously, you've been a donor for a long time and the president of our board, so you know a lot about these programs already. But can you tell us what it was like for you to like actually see them firsthand and what came to life for you by seeing them?
Yeah, so gosh, there's so much I want to say, and then there's like a blankness because I'm like at a loss for words. Um, I think what came to mind first for me is just the kindness of everybody. Um, they were just so welcoming and just so glad to see me. And even like it wasn't just a general kindness. It was like a joy. Hey, you are here, very focused on me. And I'm not like, I like to blend in, right? And so that was, first of all, a little bit overwhelming, but then you get to each place and there's so much activity um, between the staff and the people, like the ones that they're helping. And I actually think I was more moved by the staff because I think we think about who they're helping all the time.
Mhm.
We're focused on the mission and we overlook, or at least I did, like the fact that there are people who are doing the work. And like that was just so eye opening. And I don't know why. It's obvious, right? Because we communicate with the people who do the work, but to not focus so much on what we are doing, but them. And I mean, how they seemingly do it day in and day out, all the time, and with joy. Um, just seeing the staff, seeing they were all lovely and energetic. Agni Raksha, I know I mispronounced that horribly. Um, they were so busy and it was so humbling. Like they had a line of people, they cooked, we ate, they even fed like the people in line. And I don't know. I just found that all very moving. That it wasn't just dealing with the wounds. They broke bread, and it wasn't in a like communal setting, but there were plates and everybody was eating, and some people brought their own food. I don't know. I just found it all very like okay, what's going on? And then at Little Drops, the amount of people at really at both that they have served, the volume of people that they have served, like in the thousands for both, is astounding. And I don't, you know, I know it, but to actually see it and walk through Little Drops and see like every place, a bed has a person in it at a different level. Yeah, it was, you're just kind of overwhelmed
Mhm.
and you can't even process it in the moment. You're just kind of you just go with the flow. Um, so
I love that. I actually love that you talked about the staff because I feel like that's something that we like as an organization have talked about a lot, and it's something we really try to prioritize, the caring for the carers, like caring for those
mhm.
who are doing this work day in and day out. And that's, been a big part of um just even like when we do our site visits and we're talking to them and just ensuring their own emotional health and well-being and opportunities for further training or whatever it looks like to support them and just to kind of walk with them because they really are incredible. I mean, from the leaders of these organizations to everyone. You just
Yes.
see it and you're like, they all could choose something else to do. They all could probably have a less stressful job and make more money. But this
Yeah.
is what they choose to do and they believe in it and they want to do it. And it really is
And
incredible to see.
Chitra was very like that was like she would have people in and then like she would also make sure she's like, oh, like this person should be doing this, and be willing to push them out if she thought that they were limiting their abilities by staying with her.
Mhm.
Like she was very much just a genuine encourager. I mean, it was, and like she wanted to talk about everyone in the staff. Like, let me tell you about their story and why they are working here. I mean, it was absolutely lovely. So
And just to echo what Rachel said, it's so interesting to me to hear you say that, to mention the people working there standing out to you. I think this is one of the things that's like helpful, is having these conversations when you've had these experiences, because just trying to process it, or understanding your own responses. Because Rachel and I have talked about that quite a bit too. Like that was profound for me when I first started doing these trips. And just kind of what you said, part of me was like, I don't understand why this is hitting me so hard. But it's like you get it in your mind that you're trying to help a particular community or group of people. And because of that, I was aware of how important the role was for these people that were on the front line and doing it day after day. But I still think I got so like zoned, focused on one aspect of it, and not making enough room for like the layers of it and complexity of it for those who are actually in it. And that's what struck me too, like on those initial trips, was leaving, like that's where I left with so much heaviness, actually, of feeling like the weight of what they were carrying, and doing so with so much grace.
yes,
But just like, how are these people managing this? And like, how can we, or who comes alongside them, in that way to help this? And we certainly, I think too, would say like we've certainly witnessed a lot of burnout in it, and very understandably so.
And Little Drops talked more about the burnout than Chitra and Agni Raksha. The Little Drops, they said it, I mean, it's hard because that's a hands-on, I mean, essentially nursing. And he said it's hard to want to stay in this serving type of atmosphere. And I mean, some of it, depending on which stage they are at, I mean, some of these people, I mean, they cannot do anything for themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, caregiving for one is intense.
Yes.
I actually can't imagine.
Yeah. Same.
Capacity. I also, before you move on quickly, I just want to say, I don't know, I love what you said too about just like Chitra feeding them in line. And I don't even know exactly how to describe or articulate. I feel like the older I get to, like the more I'm thinking about or looking at some of the differences in cultures and what they have to offer each one of us, how it's like impacted my own life or family, or how that influenced like my own expectations and certain things. But I feel like what you described there to me is so typical of the people in the heart of India. And like I said, I don't know how to capture it, but there is something like their concern about the person next to them for their well-being, and sort of these basic human needs of like food, warmth, whatever, no matter what their situation, has always intrigued me. And I remember even my dad, like when he was like, in the last stages of his life, so approaching death, and when any of the grandkids would come up to the bed, his first question was always, have you eaten recently? Like, honey, have they eaten? They need to eat. Like, it's just this like innate thing in them and I love it. There's something really beautiful about it, because it's just this very human, tangible need that they always want to make sure whoever is around them. There's all these things you can't control for somebody, right? And you can't meet all these needs, but that one, they never overlook it. I don't know. It's so meaningful, and we don't do that over here. It's just different. Like I don't know.
So we'll go on a tangent on this a little bit. When I was with Little Drops, we got to talking about my grandmother, because I lived with my grandmother for 2 years. And one of the things that she does that is not of, I think, our generation and our culture is that if someone walks through her house, and literally people do walk in her house, that's another story, she wants to feed them. And she always serves them, and she always asks them to stay for a meal. And so we talked about that at Little Drops, and just how that is so natural to their culture, but not ours. And then while I was still in India, and actually Delhi, I cannot tell you, like, I would go and just into shops, and then they would be like, can you come back tomorrow and we'll serve you a meal? And so I did at one shop, and like they served me a meal. They just wanted to serve you a meal. There was something very important to them about having a meal with you. And it was very lovely. And so something that maybe we don't think is important, but breaking bread was very important and a part of them. So
it's something we've lost, I feel like, here, just that ability to do in that way.
Yes.
What would you say surprised you about either of them? Like, again, kind of going in with knowing about them, but what were some of the surprises for you?
So also back to the staff, was even though they're dealing with heavy things, they are so quick to smile and laugh and had infectious joy. One of the ladies at Agni Raksha, I mean, her smile was just so marvelous. I mean, it was just, and she smiled the whole time. And she's like telling me a story, and it was almost like a horrific story, but she radiated. Like, it was just like she had so much joy in her being. And I kind of, when I got to Little Drops and was walking around, and Paul and George, Paul was the same way. He laughed about everything, would answer seriously, and then have a joke about something. He just had this joy. And then I thought, gosh, he's been doing this for years, and he still has joy. And that was, I don't know, I think doing the work, because I've done some volunteering, here in Charlotte, and that joy is not the same as I see here. I mean, it feels heavy here, whereas there, it did not feel heavy. It felt like the work was heavy, but not the working. I don't know if that makes sense. They just did it, and they weren't sad about it. It was just the task to do, and they did it very well and with love. And I guess maybe that was the fact that they did the work with such grace and love. Maybe that's what I was seeing. It was nice. And it made it less heavy.
Yeah. What impression did you have, or as you thought about that, like, what did you think made that difference, or why was it different from when you say it's different from here and you've seen heavy here, but what did you kind of conclude, or have you sort of?
I don't know, other than I mean, they definitely had faith. They definitely felt that their needs were going to be met, even if their needs were not met. I don't right?
Oh, that's a profound line.
Yeah, they were okay with whatever the day brought. And what, not, I mean, from the serving, but given that the whole world has contracted in giving, right? And maybe it's because there's more things to give to. I don't know what the reason is. Mm-hmm. They were not at all sad about how hard things were. They definitely have a need. We talked about that. We talked about the need, and they weren't shy about that, but that need did not weigh heavy on them, at least from my standpoint. I'm sure it has to at some point, right? But
I I want to try to make this super concise, which isn't easy for me, but my husband and I have been watching it's a show and it's based on a Stephen King story and it's dark. It's probably not my typical go-to, but I have just found it so significant. And the basic premise is this idea of that there is this other being, this like spiritual entity who is a shapeshifter. And so he will take on somebody else's look and then commit these crimes. And then that person is being held responsible for them. But it's actually this other evil being that's at work. But they call him in the show, they call him the oh gosh, it's the tear drinker or in the grief eater are the two terms they refer to. And this is one of the parts that has been so significant for me. I think I have felt aware of these things and these painful, evil things that happen in life, and an awareness of like that thing, that act itself being what I believe, the force of evil thrives in. But I think I've missed, and I've seen like grief as a byproduct of that, and missed it actually being the thing in and of itself. Like there's a line in there, I won't quote it directly because it won't make sense out of context, but basically saying like if the evil act is his dinner, the grief that happens afterwards is his dessert. And watching the grief is his dessert. And I think what it made me realize is the grief that happens in our lives and in, at Little Drops, what they're seeing, and at Agni Raksha, I don't think it's this case of like pulling ourselves up. If only we can be strong enough, you can keep grief from changing you, because it does change you. Like you have to live with it and you can't undo all of that. But it did make me realize that like every moment of joy, or even like a moment of laughter or of human connection, is like shaking your fist at that grief eater or tear drinker to say like you didn't get everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving you all of it. And so when you describe that, what they are doing there feels like doing that, because they are not like sidestepping the like horrific realities of life. They're actually choosing to step into them, and yet somehow kind of beautifully shaking their fist into the face of darkness and evil and saying like you're not getting everything, like you're not getting this moment. So
I think that stepping into it is, so when I think about courageous living and being fulfilled in life, I mean, I think it is just how you said it is, just literally stepping into life. And somehow, almost counterintuitive, that stepping in is what somehow brings joy. So even when you're stepping into the hard stuff, it is this counterintuitiveness that brings a joy and light in your being. And that we can go on such a jag on that. But I do think they just continue to step in, like every moment of the day. And that stepping in is somehow a reward in and of itself, like that joy that just is them. Like I mean, it's almost astounding, like how lovely and joyful they were. Now, granted, I'm sure they were just glad that I was there, but it felt deeper than that.
Well, I think Paul too, specifically is, I mean, we've talked about this before, but he's just when it comes to that, like one of the most profound people that has given his life so fully to this. But it's like there is a deep joy and there's like such a deep conviction, and conviction almost feels like a heavier word, but I think it's just so deeply who he is that I don't feel like the heaviness weighs on him in the same way.
Yeah.
because he just believes in what he's doing so much. I mean, honestly, unlike probably anyone that I've ever met, but is like the way in which he does it and the way he sees people, um, is really
Yeah.
special. Yeah. Um, so now that you've been back for a few weeks, what are kind of some of your lasting impressions? What are the things that you're still kind of holding on to and
Mm. I think it goes back to their community, culturally. Just even when I was touring around, they they were so infectious. Just the community as a whole. I mean, they really did. They just want you to be a part of them. I can't tell you how many people I've kept in touch with, um, from even some of the people I met at Little Drops or Chitra. Like, they want you to come back and stay with them. Like, and it's a sincere, like, come and stay, come and go to my family home in another city. Like, come. And it's not insincere at all. It is truly like they would love for you to come and spend time with them. And I think that is lovely. I know for me, I can't imagine having someone visit and saying, "Hey, come and stay whenever you want." That just seems that, we're used to having our houses and our fences and we see our neighbors very little. But it is all community. And I think that as a whole, as a collective, is what I think about a lot. Um, I think about it because it is still so fresh. And I stepped back into the work world so easily that I also think about like how quickly we step back into our routines and our patterns. And there's a beauty in that, and there's also a little bit of like, oh, okay, I need to not always be so focused on just work. I can take a step back and focus on other things. I mean, that was just a reminder for me, because I can definitely get a little focused.
yeah. Mm, so good.
So it makes me want to go and visit the others. Just, I don't know. There's something. It also makes me want to figure out how to share this. Not so much raise more money, but obviously that's part of it. But just be like, just tell people like, do you see this? You really do want to share it.
Mhm. Well, yeah, I feel like there's something too about when you've experienced that you can't unexperience it.
Yeah.
Even when you're talking about going back to life and falling into some of those rhythms, like it's still there, and like there's a part of you that is awakened to it and knows it, and it shifts how you look at things and how you look at people, and you want other people to be able to like experience that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so glad you got to go, Laura.
Yeah. Laura, I wanted to, and I didn't think of this until we got on the phone, but I wanted to ask you something. So when I had written about India, and this is in the book that I'd written several years ago, but I was trying to describe India in one chapter, and it ends up it's like 2.5 pages. So I won't read all the 2.5 pages, but it's like once I got going, like trying to describe it and trying to capture it. So I just wanted to read you a couple, like an excerpt, and then just ask you like just to comment on it,
Okay.
like with your own like impressions. So I'm going to jump around a little bit. It flows a little bit better. At least I like to think it does. Okay. You must leave your need for personal space behind, for at any given moment, whether enclosed in a taxi cab or exposed on the street, you'll be surrounded by men, women, and children, auto rickshaws, taxis, exhaust fumes, carts, scooters, goats, cows, the smells of samosas, jasmine, spices, manure, and trash warmed by the blazing sun. It will fill and enhance your senses. It is a portrait of life at work with apparent beauty and glaring tragedy, and it asks you to look on it all. The heart of India is its people, and it is a heart like no other. It is rich, not from what it owns, but from what it will offer you, even while you are still a stranger. It will take you in, bring you into its own, cook a feast for you, provide a bed to rest, ask about your family, say that you are pretty, or ask why you have put on weight. It will take you through markets of fine silks and hand-stitched saris. It will show you dancing, jingling anklets and toe rings and vibrant colors of red and pink and green and marigold, because it likes to decorate and make things beautiful. It will take you through its cities where street numbers are assigned as a building was completed and not by consecutive order. It will take you to the magnificent Taj Mahal, which was commissioned by a grieving widower as a tomb for the wife he lost in childbirth. It will tell you that he died imprisoned in a tower by his son, and that a single window provided him with one simple view, that of the Taj Mahal. It will show you strands of pearls in Hyderabad, pink stone in Jaipur, beautiful white sand beaches in Goa. It will introduce you to basmati rice and curries that have been simmering for hours, pistachio ice cream, fried donuts floating in sweet syrup, and it will teach you how to eat with the fingers of your right hand. India will introduce you to graciousness, where the opportunity to serve is held in high regard. It will show you where Mother Teresa left her heart, in the city where men still pull the weight of a rickshaw on foot. It works hard for a living. It remembers you when years have passed since it last saw you, and it will affectionately call out Baba or baby little girl or little boy. It will sing passionately for you. It will hold up traffic and flail its arms to another driver whose arms are flailing with equal passion. It will walk down the street holding hands with its brother. It values symbolism and tradition. It wiggles its head and tells you no problem to whatever you ask. It will redefine dedication and honor, family and religion. It will punish failure, and around the next corner, it's a picture of long suffering and faith past poverty, past unanswered prayers, and past a life that has been hard. Mm-hmm. You will feel special, amazed, full, stirred, naive, helpless, engaged, awakened, all in the first day. India is magical.
I mean, I can just, every description, I can see it. One of the things that you said there that did, I remember thinking, wow, the affection that people have for each other. Mm-hmm. Women to women, men to men, there was just a genuine closeness that I thought was lovely. And they really do just want to show you their town. Like, even if it's just so like this small little thing, I mean, they want to point it out to you. I don't know, that was very well written. You covered it pretty much. I mean, oh yeah.
There's nowhere like it, for sure.
Nowhere like it. And I feel like for the first few nights there, I was dreaming of honking cars. Oh my gosh, they honk at everything.
Yeah, they can give New York a run for its money.
Oh my, 100%. There was one day, I think it was in after visiting the Taj Mahal, we were stuck in a traffic jam, which was more of a traffic jam than usual. I mean, traffic there was chaotic, and it was like everybody was playing on the horns, and I just started to laugh because it was so much noise, but not to them. Like it was just background noise to them. I don't know. I think I did film like just being in the car for a little bit, just to try and explain to people the noise and the fact that they're like 2 inches from you. And I don't know how traffic works, because then they would pull in front of you. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, there are no lanes.
No, I mean there are lanes, but they don't abide by them. Not at all.
Yeah, yeah, it brings out the scrappy side of everyone.
Yeah. And so what I will say, when I was walking around, thankfully, like I had guides and just helping me cross the street was also very interesting. And I was actually quite thankful, even though it might have been bumper to bumper. You do have to have an aura to walk through the crowds almost, right? Like you have to, you energetically have to be bigger than you are.
Oh, totally. That's so well put. I feel like we kind of remember us talking a little bit about that even before you went, but like,
Yes.
yeah, you really have to find that.
Yeah, and
I love the way you put it. Be bigger than you feel or bigger than you are.
It's not like, because we find that maybe will be offensive. It's not offensive to them. Like that's just it. It was lovely.
Well, this has been so much fun for
Yeah.
me. Thank you for like taking me on that sort of trip with you, but also my own trip down memory lane. I miss it. And it's been too long since I've been able to be there. So I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to hear about it and see it through your eyes a little bit. Thank you. You did a really beautiful job of describing it too. And I'll be thinking about this conversation the rest of the day.
Oh, same here.
So good, Laura. Thank you. Good to
All
see you.
right. Bye, guys.